Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Busy on Break. If I can't have a seizure while saying things, we are going to discuss some more topics. Yay! That's exactly what the podcast is about.
We're fucking idiots.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what I'm saying. We literally just got finished discussing a couple things before getting onto the podcast, and I literally had a seizure with my words. I don't know. Rylan, how's it going with you, sir?
Good. I just, before I got here, I was tonguing my wife real, sloppily, and then I was like, you know what, it's time to come see the podcast.
It's time to come.
Oh no!
But yeah, I'm doing great, living the dream in America. So
That's great.
yeah,
Hopefully, the work week isn't wearing you out too much.
yeah. I mean, each week sucks ass, but then the weekend you're like, this is the best time ever, and then you go back to hell.
Hey, it's corporate America. I mean, I guess you get what you get.
You get what you get in this world.
I hate corporate America.
Fuck corporate America.
It is one of those things where you can't live without it, but it's like a necessary evil.
Exactly.
You also need it a lot of the time.
You kind of need it, but
You need that for the economy.
yeah.
Shane, brother, how's it going, man?
It's going well. Just like Rylan, I was also eating out my girlfriend a few hours ago before I came here. So that was very nice, and now I'm happy to be here with you both.
I said I was making it out. Not enough.
You guys are special.
We're very special.
Oh
That's
my
very
gosh.
true.
Okay, well, that being said, let's roll the intro sequence because this has already gone off the rails.
Way off the rail.
Okay, you guys are honest people, right?
Yes, let's get on.
Very honest people. We're back on break.
Oh, back
Time
on
to be
break.
honest again.
Okay, all right. All right, well, guys, thank you all for joining us on this episode. So I wanted to get us started with, I would say, a lighthearted topic. So what was the last time you got, oh, you guys know what I'm going to say. What was the last time you guys officially crapped your pants? You got yourself into a situation and
Shitty situation.
something really, really bad happened, and then you just kind of got caught, like a deer in headlights. Oh crap! So honestly, it's almost like you can't find your cell phone, and you have that mini heart attack. It's something very similar to that. So, what's something very similar to that? And I have my own personal story about that. But Rylan, I'm going to start out with you, brother.
Right. I gotta be honest. I've come very close to shit my pants many times, but honestly, the last time I've crapped my pants, I was 7 or 8. I know, not a funny story, but I was at the beach. I think it was Bethany Beach, and I'm looking for the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I thought it was over here, and I couldn't find the bathroom. I'm wandering around the beach looking for the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna shit myself. And I was like, oh wait, I know where the bathroom is, and I'm heading straight to it, and it was too late. By the time I got there, it was all in my bathing suit, and there was a lot, and I was sitting on the toilet at that point. I'm like, this is pointless. I needed this 10 minutes ago, and then I go into the ocean after that to just get rid of the evidence. And I had a gnarly rash after that.
Oh,
yeah, it was so bad. But recently I've had close encounters, but not officially crapped my pants in a long time.
Encounters.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
very close. When you're sick and you're like, did I? And you're like, no, we're clean. But yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Anyways.
So, yeah, there's this one time where, so I'm at this mini golf course. That ain't gonna end well. So I'm at this mini golf course, and for some reason, I had something that I absolutely could not. Like my body just was not processing it well at all. And
Oh,
so
no.
I think we're at hole 5 or 6 or something like that. I'm thinking, okay, I gotta do something. And I typically don't use public restrooms, which I think is like another topic in and of itself. But this was like the one exception where I was like, okay, I need to use this absolutely in an emergency situation. So I went there and I exploded the peanut brittle inside of my inside of the toilet.
Oh,
Oh no!
oh man. So, but you did crap
Thankfully,
your
I
pants?
did not crap
Oh,
my
you
pants.
didn't crap
That
your-
is,
You were
Didn't
like
crap
right
your
there.
pants.
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I mean, yes, it was. It came very, very close to
Yeah.
it. And if I would have waited literally another second, then yeah, it absolutely would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've come very close in recent past. I mean, I was. If you ever been to the Paris Hotel in Vegas, I was at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and I realized at that moment I had to take a shit, and the elevator was taking forever to come up. I was like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like,
You shit your pants in the elevator.
but thank God the elevator showed up, and I did not. But very close.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
you guys, are you guys familiar with that one prankster on YouTube? What he does is he walks into an elevator and he like has his fart spray.
Yes.
And he makes a
Yeah,
whole
I've
bunch
seen
of
that
these
before.
like farting noises. He literally makes everybody so disgusted inside.
gagging.
It's bad. It's really bad. But honestly, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. There's another prank video where this guy, he takes like these cornflakes and Nutella and he kind of like balls
under
it
the
up.
the bathroom stall. Yeah, he's like, yo man, can I get some toilet paper? And then he grabs it and he like rubs the Nutella on the guy's hand.
That's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
And then what
They
happens?
freak out.
So the one freaks out so badly. So he gets what is it? He gives the guy the tasty turd or whatever the heck you want to call it. He gives it to the other guy after asking him for toilet paper, and the guy's like, "Oh man, what the?" He takes the trash can and throws it up at the ceiling. It's one of the funniest videos I have ever seen.
Oh my god, dude, those are so funny.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I understand. Like, it can, be like I've seen certain videos where people have been like handed that they think it's the real thing and they actually start to vomit. So,
Because they see the shit on the guy's hand, the guy's finger, and they're so
Exactly.
disgusted by it. It's
Yeah.
like it's like a visceral reaction. Jesus Christ.
wonderful.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys very much for that. This has been Talking Crap on Busy on Break.
So wait, we have not heard Shane's crap story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So my story is I actually did shit my pants.
Okay.
So I actually was eating at this one restaurant you've been to, and I've brought you there, I think, as well. And I had these buffalo blazing wings.
Oh,
They're the,
I know
hot,
where
they're
this
the
is
hottest
going.
wings that you can get at this place. They're like super thick. I mean, like I've eaten spicy food like since I was like a young, growing up. I was super young, so I'm used to it. But what had happened is I ate these wings and I was driving. I got on the highway and I used to live, like out in the sticks, kind of like
Yeah.
if you remember. So it was like a 40-minute drive, and like I go past the one exit and there's not like there's no like basically there's nothing else for a long time, and I start to feel it, and it's like a wet shit as well. So it was like it all came up to the surface all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh shit! Like I've got about 5 minutes to get to a bathroom. So I'm pedaling it down the highway, and I've got like 25 minutes to get to, back to my place that I was renting at the time, and literally within minutes, it just starts to rise to the surface. And I'm trying to do my best to like prairie dog it as best as I possibly fucking can, and it just keeps rising to the surface. And I'm just like trying to like, and this isn't like a highway that you can pull over either. Like there's no like trees, there's no like place you can hide or anything like that. So I fucking let it out in my car. And I was wearing like jeans and like, it goes fucking everywhere.
Damn.
And I just shit myself for a good couple minutes. And it was fucking brutal. And I was like, all right, I can't go into this Wawa. I cannot, because it'll start sliding down my fucking pants and shit. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to the house where I'm renting, and I'm just gonna like go inside and like try to get into the bathroom and change. But it's fucked up when I get there. There's this guy I was renting the house from. His name is Gary. He's like this real like country guy. My mom kind of knew him. He was like somewhat of a family friend. So like I'm like, how the fuck? And the second I walk in there, he's gonna smell this fucking shit. So I'm like, what do I do? I have no idea. So I'm out in the driveway and I'm like contemplating, like waiting until he like gets up and goes to bed, because it was like probably 9:30 or 10. And this guy sometimes passes out sleeping in the living room. So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna have to just go in there and book it up the stairs. The stairs are right there. So I like open the door and I just run up. I'm like, how you doing, Gary? He's like, how you doing? And I just run up to the stairs. I go in the bathroom. I like start like I hit the sink. The sink's running. I hit the shower. I just rip off my pants, rip off my underwear, and I just put it. I put it like on the ground. And I was like, all right. So then I take a shower. I wash myself like 3 fucking times. I get out of the shower. And I find like a plastic bag from downstairs. I changed and I made it like not too obvious.
Okay.
And like I put it all in the plastic bag and I take it downstairs. I go out in the back and I like throw it in the bottom of the trash can. And I take it out right away and take it to the curb. And Gary, he never found out about it. So it was a very shitty situation.
Yeah.
But, in the most literal sense of the word.
Most literal sense, but it could have been way worse. So
oh man,
that was 8 years ago.
It's almost like the walk of shame where you take your boxers and you just toss it right into the trash can, because know there is no coming back from that for that article of clothing. Sir,
absolutely
you've
not.
served your purpose. Be gone with you.
That's in a dumpster somewhere.
That's like my number one fear of work. I'm just gonna shit myself.
Oh my gosh!
I don't care if I get fired. I don't care if I do a bad job. But if I shit myself at work, I'm gonna be known as the guy that shit himself at work.
If you shit yourself at work, you gotta leave that company.
you
gotta leave that company, man.
Like if I don't, if I go the whole day without shitting myself at work, that's a good day.
That's a great day. That's a great
day. Like,
dude, sometimes if I'm ever talking to like a client on the phone, I'm always just like thinking like, if I have to take a shit, I'm hanging up the call. Yeah. And I'll call the client back in like 10 minutes.
It's not worth it.
And I'll be like, yo, sorry, I had system issues. Like I had to call you back. That would be my excuse.
I can't,
like, don't ever shit yourself at work.
even a near death experience, like almost is worth not shitting yourself.
100%.
Rest in peace, bro.
It's almost as like that. Like, yeah, to me, it's like one of the worst things that could ever happen.
It is, man. You feel like when you shit yourself violently and it's like a wet shit. It's the worst. It's the worst thing in the fucking world, man. Yeah. Like I said, having your fucking older roommate there sitting on the couch. Yeah. I just booked it up the stairs and he didn't even ask me. He was like, oh, whatever. But I was like, fuck it. I'm going right upstairs. I'm showering. I'm taking my underwear off, taking my jeans off. I'm changing. I'm good.
Not going to lie. Like one of the best feelings out there is literally when you feel Nagasaki brewing up with inside of your intestines and then you lay that crap out inside of the toilet. I tell you what, there's been certain times where like I've taken that dump and it's a glorious dump and I literally fall asleep right afterwards.
Oh yeah, dude, you take the best like nap or whatever after a dump.
It's great.
Those after nap dumps, like
those are the best.
Or after dump naps.
After dump naps.
Well, this has literally been a great crappy conversation. Thank you guys for participating in that. So I wanted to feed y'all another topic here. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick synopsis on the situation. So you're the Philadelphia Eagles. It is 4th and 1. What is Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts gonna do?
They're gonna shove Jalen Hurts' head up his center's ass. No, I'm just kidding.
Sneak.
I'm just kidding. They're gonna touch his butt and throw him across the line.
No, he's gonna yeet him right across.
As Eminem said.
Yeah.
Slipped in his tiny little asshole. That was one of Eminem's songs. Remember that?
How's it go?
Eminem's song is like, a quarterback yells out, hut, hut, and he reaches in on a grown man's butt.
Oh, yeah.
Slipped.
To answer your question, Joe, we're gonna run the tush push. Is what we're gonna do on 4th and 1.
We are absolutely going to be running the tush push. Now, the thing is, after seeing this past Super Bowl, and especially looking at a majority of the games out there,
Yeah.
now I'm clearly not as qualified of talking about this topic. I think you guys have been watching football a lot longer than I have, but it's almost guaranteed that you're going to get a first down especially if you're 4th and 1.
If you're Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
Yeah, like I think did this even go back to when who was the previous quarter? Nick Foles. Did the tush push exist when Nick Foles was part of the Philadelphia Eagles?
So, just to be clear, the QB sneak is what we're talking about. It's been coined the tush push because the way the Eagles do it is like that. But the QB sneak has been in play in the NFL for as long as I've been watching sports, 6
As long
years
as
old.
we've been alive.
Yeah, like you could always do a QB sneak. The way they do it, I don't know if that's a new way of doing it, but the tush push is nothing new. Like the QB sneak is nothing new. And Joe, where you're going with this is like they're trying to ban this play now.
Exactly.
Because the Eagles, I mean, every NFL team can do it, but not better than the Eagles. Because they were so successful, everyone's feeling butthurt about it, and they're like, "We're gonna take it away from the Eagles."
Yeah,
like, it's
what is
terrible.
it? I think it's the Carolina Panthers that were
The Green Bay Packers.
Okay, never
Yeah,
mind. Green Bay
Packers.
Packers that were also running the play as well. But the thing is, you see them running the play, and it's just my personal opinion. It just doesn't look nearly as refined as when the Eagles do it. I
Oh.
think the Eagles just look a lot better doing the tush push. In my opinion.
Sorry. The Green Bay Packers are the team that are advocating to get rid of the play.
Oh,
I think you're.
I'm an idiot.
No. I'm an idiot too. It's the Buffalo Bills that run the same play, and they're also
right,
advocating
okay.
to get rid of it. It's like you run the play. Well, why are
They
you?
benefit from it
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Well, the
Bills always-
Packers just completely butthurt about the fact that they
Yeah.
just can't get past the play.
That they can't run the play successfully, and then the Eagles, I think, played the Packers in the playoffs this year, the first round, I believe. So unless I'm making that up, but yeah, they're probably just angry that they lost in the playoffs to the team that won the Super Bowl, and now they're trying to ban. They do this all the time when teams are successful. They try to either replicate it, and if they can't, they try to get rid of it because it's an unfair advantage. But it's really not. I don't think it is.
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't a part of their team. I'm sorry. Ever since Aaron Rodgers left the Packers, I mean,
Their
it hasn't really
team
been
went
the same.
downhill.
Even the New York Jets. I'm sorry, but they were just an absolutely laughable team, even though Aaron Rodgers was playing with them.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers is very injury prone. Like he gets just injured constantly.
Not surprising.
Well, he got hurt for the Jets their first game of the season last year. Like it was literally the first. I think like within the first half, he was done for the season.
He was done for the season. Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about the play? Do you think it should be banned? Do you think it should be, I don't know, like done every once in a while? Like, do you think the Eagles overdo the play? What are you
Yeah.
guys' thoughts on this?
What do you think, Shay?
Like in terms of I mean, I think the Eagles are very successful with it because they seem to always go to it like on 4th and 1 or even 4th and some change too, and they've always been really successful, especially when Jason Kelsey was at center. Like he was a big part of why
That's a good
why
point.
we had success there.
It's a good point.
Jalen, well, even with Carson Wentz when he was quarterback, we did the QB sneak a lot. He was talented with it. Jalen Hurts even more so. So I mean, I think it's a big part of our offense and our arsenal.
And I just don't see. I mean, you can get rid of it, fine, but they claim people get hurt. But then I saw something where they looked at how many injuries have came out of this play, and like they can't find any. It's like how's it dangerous if no one's getting hurt from it?
Right.
What is other than being successful and teams are winning? That's what you want. You want plays that make you win. Like
I feel like the NFL is trying to make the sport safer in a way because I'm sure
Yeah.
they're getting a lot of reports about like CTE and they're trying
yeah.
to track that and monitor that. Like I know they're trying to like when players catch the ball in the end zone.
I mean, for crying out loud, they made an entire movie about it.
Yeah, they're making
I
an
think
entire movie about it.
What is
so-
it with Will Smith called Concussions?
oh yeah, concussion.
Have you guys ever seen that movie before?
No.
No, I didn't see it.
It is a wonderful movie, and obviously the acting was fantastic. I mean, me personally, I think Will Smith is a really good actor, but it chronicles because he plays this doctor inside of the movie, and it chronicles like certain football players, suffering very late in their lives. Like some of these, some of these players unalive themselves after a specific amount of time because it just gets to them and they can't take it anymore. Now, I have no idea what that, feels like. I don't want to know what that feels like, but it's something that was, I believe, discovered sometime in the 60s. That's really when a lot of research went into this sort of thing. And ever since then, helmet technology got a whole lot better. And it seems like injuries aren't as bad these days. But it's a bad thing.
Well, I know Will Smith gave Chris Rock a concussion. Slapped him across the face. He gave him a little bit of CTE there, but
yeah, Chris Rock got rocked.
He got rocked in the face by Will.
G.I. Jane can't wait to see you. I'm sorry.
Oh shit! Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
Oh yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
It was great.
Chris Rock, he's great.
Well, either way, I think the general consensus is, obviously let's keep the tush push inside the game. Obviously, I think I'm a little bit biased because I'm wearing the Eagles hat.
Yeah.
We're all Eagles fans and everything.
I mean, we're obviously biased, but when you think about if you just call it the QB sneak and not the tush push, the QB sneak has existed forever. So you're gonna say now no quarterback can run the ball? Like, I don't know how you keep a QB sneak, but it can't be on 4th and 1. Like, what's the rule gonna be?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, if it's always allowed, then it allows teams to do different things. You can QB sneak on 1st and 10. You can do it on 4th and 1. But ultimately, that should be up to the team, not like the NFL and all the owners voting on something.
Yeah,
Get rid of another play that works. I don't know. I just think they need to think about that before they get rid of it.
I hope they don't get rid of it that way.
I hope not either.
That'd be a horrible decision.
Well, speaking of, because obviously these are weekend activities. So what do you guys typically do whenever? Okay, so you have yourself a really long day at work, and you just want to find a way to de-stress after the work day. Especially on the weekends. Like, what's some things that you guys have found that, just really makes you guys de-stress at the very end of the day? Rylan, I definitely want to start out with you with that because I feel like you probably have a thing or two to say about that.
Pornhub, no.
Brothers.
No. I'm trying to think here. So you're saying on a Friday night, what do I do?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so you had I don't know, Karen's complaining to you about not getting the numbers done at the end of the day, and this is kind of like seething inside of your head like a scrambled egg. And what's something that you can do in order to take that fried egg, put it in a doggy bag, put it in the refrigerator, and just I don't know where I'm going with this analogy.
Save that fried egg for another day. Number one thing, man, is probably going out to dinner with my wife. Like we go to a lot of restaurants together, and it's how to put it. It's not innovative, but it honestly gets your head out of whatever funk you're in. You go to Texas Roadhouse, for example. It's a great environment. They're like, "Oh, yeehaw! It's someone's birthday!" And they sing some song.
Happy birthday from us to you.
Whatever they're singing, I never can make out the words. But and then there's other great restaurants besides Texas Roadhouse. So my wife and I like to do that. If you're into it, you can have a beer if you need to distress. I don't see an issue with a good beer or two. But I've actually been trending towards less drinking because I'm trying to run more. So I don't run on the weekends, but during the week, if I run on a Friday during the day, I go to bed early, no stress. Running is a great way to just get your head out of work stress environments. But there's a million things you could do. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I would say on Friday nights, it's kind of like my chill, relaxing night. So if anything, I might do a light workout in the gym, maybe just a little bit of cardio, and then usually just come back and chill and watch some Netflix. If I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, we'll watch a good documentary. Watch the Gabby Petito, Brian Landry documentary this past Friday. Dude, so that was really interesting. Something that takes your mind off of work and you can kind of really escape, because usually Fridays are always really stressful for me. I'm sure you guys as well at work, but something chill and relaxing and something that takes the edge off work so you can just kind of forget about it for a little bit.
Yeah, one thing I have to say about working out, which, believe it or not, I have done some workouts in the past, but especially when you're regular with it, it seems to really, it just makes you feel good. And I've gone into the science behind it, but it obviously makes your brain release endorphins. Like you literally tried to, put your body through something you feel like you accomplished, trying to exercise your body. Like that stuff actually works out really nicely. Like I remember back in the day when I was walking something like 3 miles a day. So I was, I don't know, walking something like 15 miles every single week. I felt great after doing something like that. And now I think I'm speaking at least to the males for right now, but especially when you do, weight lifts and stuff like that, it just makes you feel like a beast. And it almost puts your mind into like beast mode or something like that.
Yeah, lifting weights are great. I do that during the weekday, so I work out 3 days a week on the weekday. But I try to like do something different on the weekends that I wouldn't do. Like the week is like for work, so I'm in the gym during the week or I'm running during the week. But playing guitar. You play guitar.
Absolutely.
That's another way to de-stress. But that's all like work to me. Like on the weekends, you want to do something that you really don't have the time to do during the week. So like you said, watch a documentary. You just didn't have the time to watch till Friday night.
Right.
Great example. Going to that restaurant that you just didn't have time to go to during the week because maybe it's a little further away. If you really have time, maybe you should do like kind of like a little vacation, not like for the weekend, but like for the day, go somewhere different. You just go somewhere new. That really gets your head out of
Absolutely
the funk you might be in. Like just a new environment. You've never seen the mountains of some place or the ocean of some place,
I totally agree. Anytime you have a chance, like if you and your girlfriend go to the same park every time, just looking at a different park in the area and going there and switching up the scenery makes a world of a difference. Yeah. Or sometimes it's like, you guys always get Mexican and Italian. Go get fucking seafood and try it out. Just change it up a little bit.
So Shane, you ended up going on a vacation with a buddy of ours recently. There's something about taking trips that just puts you in a completely different mindset. How can I lost my train of thought with that.
No, well, I think like maybe I'm thinking the same thought as you, Joe, but it's one of those things where
it seems to clear your mind.
Yeah, like you need to do something that just changes your whole mode of thinking. Like I said, like Texas Roadhouse can do that to you, but sometimes you need something a little more potent than just a restaurant. Sometimes you need to literally go somewhere that is an hour from your home. Sometimes it has to be 10 hours from your home. Like it just depends on the situation. But I do think at the end of the day, all these things kind of remove you from whatever mindset you were previously in. Like you start to look at life differently because of that.
Definitely. Because the thing is, if you go to the same place all the time, like me personally, I go to Wawa way too much.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love their chicken sandwiches and their garlic knots and stuff. But after a while, it just, you go and, you get their food. And it's good. It's good for a dopamine hit for, I think, the first, 10 minutes. Then after that, you end up going back home. You go back home and you're wondering, okay, well, I just wasted $15 for something I could have just made at home.
Yeah, you build a tolerance. Yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, like something that I definitely do. Now, I personally am taking a break from alcohol for, I think this is the 4th week so far, something like that. I just wanted to go off of it for a little bit and, just kind of like reset my body and whatnot. But something that I absolutely love to do. Now, for those of you who don't know, because I can't really switch the cameras around here, but we have some lights here that they have RGB controls in them as well. So what I can do is put them on like a strobe light and it switches, I believe it's 4 lights that we have in here. I switch the lights onto a strobe and it switches between green, red, and blue. So I take a couple beers, and I get to the drum set behind me, and I end up playing a little bit tipsy and stuff. It's actually a lot of fun. It almost makes you feel like you're in like a concert environment. Like you're playing in front of a group of people. That's my personal definition of fun, but also, hanging out with you guys. That's definitely something that's helped me out in a lot more ways than one.
If someone says their way of de-stressing is like going on Excel and doing spreadsheets, like, I'm sorry, I feel so bad for you. I
Davis
really do.
Clark, that guy.
I'm sorry.
Guy,
like
man.
you need help.
That guy, he's slugging waters on the weekend.
That's some psycho
cranking out
babble.
spreadsheets. He's
He's
in the office on Saturday and Sunday, man.
He's got that pink shirt with the khakis on
He's got and the pink boat shoes
and a bow tie.
and the
Let's
bow
not forget
tie.
the bow tie.
I mean, Davis Clark. My prediction for Davis, if you ever see this, I think that he's played it really well. He found an area of the market where no millennial, no Gen Z person is excited to go into the office. He played that up. He acted like he was all about it. He actually might be all about it, but I guarantee you 2 years from now, he's not going to be working in corporate America. He's going to use the money and the status that he's acquired, and he's going to be like just either an influencer or he's going to be starting his own companies. Like, props to him though. Props to him, but he's a grifter. He's a grift. He's a smart marketer, but he's a grifter.
I tell you what, it's an interesting idea of like de-stressing. Is like, if you're like a Buddhist monk or something like that, that's some interesting stuff. You stare at a wall for like 36 hours and your whole mind changes.
I'd
You're
go
like,
fucking crazy.
I'd go crazy too. But like that's if you've disciplined your mind where you can like control your in and out breaths and clear your mind and all you're thinking of is the present moment, it does like help your stress level. You forget about what happened 2 hours ago. You're in the present moment. But these Buddhist monks are hardcore. Like they're in the mountains of some country. I might be making this up, but they live, let's say, in Nepal or whatever country it is, Tibet, and like they're doing nothing but just meditating. That's
staring at a wall for 36 hours.
And they're happy as shit, dude. They're some of the happiest people, I feel like.
I think a lot of it has to do with staying off social media a lot too.
Oh,
I've
yes.
noticed days where like I'm going to the gym, I'm going for a hike, I'm staying off the social media apps. I feel like my soul just like feels better. And when there's a day where I'm like scrolling Instagram, I'm like watching useless YouTube videos, I'm on TikTok, like my soul feels crushed. Like I feel like stressed out.
I'll tell you what, death scrolling is absolutely a real thing.
Yeah.
It is. It's a real thing.
So I have a personal record with that. I think I went about 5 hours of nonstop scrolling through Facebook Reels. And I will never do that again because for some reason, there was an experiment that was done. I think it's back in the 60s or 70s. I think it was an experiment on rats where they attached this device to the place inside their brain that causes pleasure, and every single time they would press the button, the rat would get a dopamine hit. Well, I kind of feel like that's the same thing of what happens whenever you scroll or do any sort of doom scrolling. You get this little piece of information that it spikes your dopamine hit because you get this new piece of information that you didn't know before. I don't know why you get a hit off of that, but apparently that's the way that the human mind works. After that 5-hour session, I felt horrible.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like I could not. I just felt like I could not function after that. And it was something like 3:00 in the morning or something like that. And I don't think I slept at all that night.
Can you guys tell me if you get this way with phones and stuff? But do you have like, let's say you've been off your phone, off social media for a couple hours, and then like you might have a random thought like, I'm trying to think of a random thought that I want to Google, right? I'm like, I wonder what scientists think about the evidence of like drinking milk is.
Yes.
Right? So my thought is I'm going to research, is drinking milk healthy or something, right? But when I get on my phone, I see that like 5 people texting me. I have this kind of notification on whatever. And I'm on my phone. I don't even search what I got on my phone on the I've gotten so distracted from what my objective was that I don't even remember why I was on my cell phone to begin with. Does that ever happen?
100%, especially like at work. What I'll do is I'll just like shut off notifications for like texts, updates, apps, things like that, and I'll just focus on work. And then there's days where I might be working on a video And I put my phone in my living room and I just shut my door and I
Yeah.
just solely concentrate on like making content.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you get on your phone after that, do you feel like, wow, like I've lost all my concentration again?
100%, 100%, because you have 3 people texting you, you have all these notifications from all these different apps, and you're just like, whatever I was trying to search, I'm now distracted from.
And like for you, like if you're doing a YouTube video, does that like kind of get rid of your creativity mindset?
I think it does. If you're getting all these notifications, especially news updates, whether it's like geopolitics or finance, it pulls you into a different mind state than what you were trying to accomplish 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I get the exact same thing. So there was an assignment that I had to get done for my school. We're basically creating like this little makeshift GPS assignment, and I remember trying to code it up and just generate the appropriate divs. For those of you who code in HTML, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm trying to generate all this stuff, and then I see a pop-up notification on my phone. Hey, we just acquired a Steam engine. Will it run and drive? And I'm like, whoa, I got to check this out right now. And so I end up checking it out, and there's like 45 minutes of my time. And then like 10 minutes into the video, I literally forget that I'm working on a homework assignment, and I pretty much lose my creativity. I lose my workflow. I then have to go right back to my code and figure out exactly where I was last time that I was in it.
Yeah, it's a good point, Joe, because it's almost like the media wants to keep us distracted with all these updates about the wars and the economy and the tariffs and all this stuff, and it takes you away from like your own goals and like what you're trying to accomplish that day.
I will say, for me personally, when I first wake up in the morning, I feel the most like ready to tackle whatever it is. So if I don't do this, but if I was making my like own YouTube channel, like you have your own channel, if I woke up first thing in the morning, the first thing I would do is film my YouTube channel. Have you found different hours of the day?
I always find that that's actually a good point. I should try that actually. I've been wanting to try that. I found that I do best making my content on the weekends in like the mid-afternoon, or like, sometimes if it's on a weeknight, I'll make it around like from like 8 to 10. I'll knock out a video. But that's actually a good point. Like if you can wake up earlier and just get to work right away, hit the gym after, and that way you've done all of your work that you had to do for the day, I think that's going to help set you up for success a lot more.
I do think there is something to like going to sleep and you wake up, like whatever stress you had about the news that day goes away for the first couple hours. So if you don't turn on your phone and you go straight to your YouTube setup and you just record, maybe you write down the night before, like I'm gonna talk about this, and this, and then you wake up, you're like, what am I talking about today? Oh, I got my topics ready.
Bang it out.
Just get that done, and maybe that helps. I don't know.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that.
I'm gonna try that as well. Sometime in the future, because I've also noticed that personally, like I code the best in the mornings, and lately it hasn't really been me doing that. So definitely something for me to do. Now, I do want to switch gears here a little bit, because so there was an interaction that I had a little bit earlier today, and so I'll preface it by saying, I wear my Eagles hat all the time. I love hats. For anybody that know who I am, I'm a huge fan of hats, and obviously I love the Eagles, so I wear lots of Eagles hats. So I went to get some coffee and a breakfast sandwich earlier in the morning, and I came across this guy, and you could just kind of tell by the way that I was conversing with him that maybe he just wasn't completely there. This brings up a topic that Jordan Peterson talked about, and it's this concept called the dominance hierarchy. And you can kind of gauge, like if you're in enough party situations, you can kind of tell, which people are a little bit higher in the social dominance hierarchy, which ones are maybe a little bit on the lower end of the dominance hierarchy. Typically, and this is my personal experience with this, good-looking women tend to be a little bit more towards the top, and obviously if you're the, I would say maybe the Chad lookalike, maybe you're going to be a little bit more towards the top as well. But also, with men, you also have to have social game and that social charisma and that charisma.
That's important.
So what do you guys, and Rylan, I guess I'll start with you.
Okay.
What's been your experience with, I would say, like the concept of the social dominance hierarchy? Like, have you met people that you would perceive that are maybe, and this is going to sound mean to say, but people that are maybe a little bit lower than you cognitively and then maybe a little bit above you cognitively?
From that lens, yes. I mean, I have met people where, well, I guess I'm a little different, but I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know if I'm like, I don't know what my IQ is, but I definitely can talk to people who I'm like, I think I might have a lower IQ than this person. They're really smart, and I, in the last 2 minutes, don't know what the hell they just said. And that's fine. Like, you meet people that are just so intelligent, you're like, this person has a higher IQ than me. And then conversely, I've talked to people, and I'm like, I can just tell whatever I'm saying is like going over their head.
Going over their head, yeah.
Nothing's being like retained, and you just gotta accept that that's where they're at, And you can look at it like a dominance hierarchy thing. You could. I try not to judge people that way, but it is there.
Yeah.
You can't argue that it's not there.
Yeah, I mean, we really have to try and treat it. I mean, at least me personally, I try to treat people with as much respect as I possibly can. Just be a decent human being about it. I mean, obviously, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I know, like I know a thing or two. But here's the thing. So I went to a murder mystery a couple of weeks ago, and I absolutely had a great time. But for some reason, I was not able to follow along with the story. Like, if you guys have ever played the game Clue, I mean, me personally, I've never played the game Clue. I don't really know how to play the game Clue. But, looking at my other 3 team members, they appear to really kind of like pick up on everything. I'm like, how are you storing all this information inside of your head? So, these people I kind of viewed as, well, for lack of a better term, like way above me in terms of, cognitive awareness. And they seem to know what they were doing in terms of, social situations.
Somehow came across a Jordan Peterson video on dominance hierarchies earlier today. That's why I texted to the group chat, but I really see it in the workplace. Like the way managers interact with their subordinates and the way managers interact with other managers, it's clear as day. Like I guess the dominance hierarchy is very clear in like corporate America. Like your boss is going to talk to you a certain way. They're going to talk to their boss way differently than how they'd interact with you. From a social sense, it varies depending on like where you are and like what party you're at, like who like. So that's kind of like social parties can be kind of interchangeable.
But I would say, as clear as the dominance hierarchy exists, it's contextual, and you're not like locked into where you're at within the hierarchy. Change. You can find ways to elevate yourself or lower yourself. So yeah, it's not like set in stone. If you're like starting out as a contractor in the office, it doesn't mean forever you're a contractor.
No.
Like, in some cultures, that is the case.
Like
where
in India.
Yes, they have the caste system, and your hierarchy is determined at birth. At birth.
Yeah.
Even if you have a skill that no one has. Like, I think there was some guy, I could be making this up, but there was some guy in India, I believe, that could solve math problems that, like, the smartest people in the world could never figure out.
Yeah, I think you and I were talking about that years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
It was like he was like it's like almost like he didn't even take like an official math course, but he could solve like the most complex math problems. He was just like hitting a genius level IQ.
But even in some systems, if you have that skill set, you're still stuck in your hierarchy that's been determined by the culture you're in. So. Not to get too patriotic here, but what makes America great is that you can move up regardless of where you started, and you can move down regardless of where you started. I think it's the fairest system for that reason, because you can go from rags to riches and vice versa.
100%. Even for us, like we started off as contractors making 15, 16 an hour, and we worked really, really hard to rise up a bit in the corporate ladder. And that guy, moved to America somehow. he'd probably be worth millions.
Yeah.
You know,
You
he-
can solve
he-
problems that no one else can solve mathematically.
Yeah, Zuckerberg
Yeah.
or Steve Jobs.
I mean, maybe
Bill Gates would hire him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe NASA could use a mind like I forget what he did in his career. I think he's dead now. This guy, it's a real guy. I mean, like he was in history, but yeah, like he solved these problems, and no one could really understand how he did. He didn't even know how he did it. Like he just had this ability to solve complex, let's say like, calculus, questions that no one else could solve. I don't know, but the dominance hierarchy would say, oh well, this guy should be at the top. He should be at the very top because no one else can do what he does. But then culture can be like, but he is an untouchable in India. Like he's not going anywhere. I don't care how good his math skills are.
100%.
And it restrains that.
Yeah, it's very contextual because one person could be a very high status, and because you have a very particular skill set, that person wants to interact with you. And then there could be someone that doesn't see any value in you because they don't need your skill set. So one person can perceive you as very high, another person can see you as very low. So I think it's just a very interesting topic.
But then the other thing is, like, at least in the workplace, a lot of the perceived dominance you have is like almost like smoke and mirrors. A lot of these people that are sometimes even your direct manager or higher than you know less than you in the field that you're both in. And it's crazy because they would never come off that way. You would always think they're in control of the situation. You'd always think, I can rely on this person to be smarter than me in this topic. You'd be surprised. Like some of that is true, some of it isn't. It's a lot of it's they bend the truth.
Yep, I think a lot of it comes down to being extremely competent at something, and if somebody that's 2 levels down below you becomes more competent than you, eventually they're gonna rise above.
Theoretically, yes. It should be that way, and it tends to be that way, but it's not always that way.
Always that way.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, regardless, if you end up, I mean, honestly, the two ways I think that you could really like up your game as far as the dominance hierarchy, do 2 things. Get in shape, get yourself an education, especially in something that, really means something. I don't mean gender studies. Okay. Other than that, so Rylan, you ended up texting me a picture about a decision structure, and I think this is really important to try and bring this up because I think this could possibly help out somebody. Me personally, I am not the most decisive person out there. I mean, I can like weigh certain things inside of my head and try to make a decision based on what I would say like the gravity of that particular task is. So what's your general strategy for making decisions in your life?
Yeah, so we're getting into the weeds here, but this was something Shane and I had talked about a couple of weeks ago because Shane, you were thinking about being proactive in life, right? I think that's how this topic came out.
being proactive and like I think the key is to like think of what problems you're going to face in a year or 2 years. We're all going to face problems. We're all going to have different problems. And how do you be proactive in like tackling those problems now ahead of time before they happen? Because they will happen.
Yeah, and I agree. I think ideally, in the most ideal sense, you've always had some kind of idea of what to do before it happens, right? Ideally, you've thought about it 10 years ago, and now it's like it's this isn't a drill. This is the real thing.
This is happening real time.
Ideally, that's why you do these things in like corporate situations and all that. But unfortunately, you're not going to always be proactive. Unfortunately, you're going to have things you never thought about come your way today. You're like, okay, shit, there's a problem right now coming straight towards me. I didn't think about this 10 years ago, so what can I do now? So you can react to that. That's a decision you make in the moment. Like reactivity is present day, present time decision making. That's what comedy can be improvised comedy, music can be improvised music. You can improvise. There's different ways to improvise, and that's probably your best way to, in the present moment, solve a problem is to improvise very well. If you're a good improviser, you can almost get away with not being a proactive person because it almost looks like you had this thought out the whole time, but you really just thought of it in real time.
Right.
And so you could do So for a decision, we've talked about two options. You can be proactive, you can be reactive, and then I would say probably the third out of the four ways you can make a decision, you can be retroactive, which is like, I fucked up 10 years ago. Let me go back a little. Let me go back in time and go solve something that should have been done the right way the first time. And that's probably the worst. It's better than doing nothing at all sometimes, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes doing nothing at all is actually the best thing too.
Right, yeah.
But retroactive decision making is probably where you don't want to be in life. You don't want to be like, I should have got my high school degree, so now I'm going for the GED. You know what I mean? Like, you should have thought about ahead of time, I need an education, I need to graduate high school, so I won't slack off from 9th to 12th grade, right? You should have thought about that ahead of time.
Thought about that 4 years ago.
Yeah. So the third option is you can be retroactive in your decision making, and then the final thing, sometimes this really works. Sometimes you do nothing at all, and this is being non-reactive. Sometimes the best thing you can do is absolutely nothing. And it's weird. An example of that, there's great examples of that. One of the things it's called like drown proofing that the military does. I can't really explain it, but basically it's a drill you have to do where you're tied up and thrown into a pool. Like, you can't use your hands. I think your feet are tied up too. This is an example I've seen to show like what being non-reactive is. But basically, the best thing you can do instead of like thrashing around the pool is let yourself sink to the bottom. And because of your buoyancy, because you have so much air, you just kick off the bottom and come up to the top. So rather than thrash around for 10 minutes and panic, you know, sometimes we panic and we do the worst thing possible, which is exhaust all that air. And then you do sink. You are going to sink because the best thing you could do is let yourself drop to the bottom and just kick up because you have all that oxygen stored in your lungs to bring you back to the top, grab a thing of air, and then you're doing this for the next 45 minutes in this military drill. So that's one example of being non-reactive. But yeah, those are your four options when you make a decision. You can be either proactive, you can be reactive, you can be retroactive, or you can be non-reactive. That's all you got. At the end of the day, you only have four options to have an outcome in your life. Like, that's all you can do.
100%. I think it's also staying calm. Like, when you have a big problem that you're facing, you got to stay calm and level-headed, and you got to go through all the different options, and then you have to choose the one that is the most sensible thing for your life.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, I've learned in my own life, you don't have 10 days to make a decision. You have maybe 10 minutes. But giving yourself that 10-minute breather and just really analyze your options. You could be like, look, I could go with, you know, choice A, B, C, or D, right? What do I do here? If you can just, even for a second, take yourself out of the moment you're in and just analyze, like, can I be proactive here? Can I be reactive? Can I do nothing at all? Or did I really fuck up and I have to go like retrace my steps? You know, that's at the end of the day, that's all you can really do to solve your own problems in this world. So
that's a good insight.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, so we are actually almost out of time, and I wanted to end on just like something really lighthearted. So us millennials are very much, aware of the impact that boomers have on our lives. You know, oftentimes our parents are our boomers, are, you know, the boomer generation. You know, some of them are Gen X. But have you guys had any interesting stories, especially with I would say like boomer Karens, for lack of a better term? And before Arlene,
I could, she was really Karen. She was a boomer.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because I was one time, and this was years ago, but I ended up being in a meeting this one time, and this person was just really unhappy with how the meeting was being conducted. She ended up taking out her phone and like recording the whole thing. I'm like, that is like one of the most petty things that you could ever think to do, especially during like some professional meeting. And honestly, like because I contributed a thing or two to this meeting, I wanted to, you know, take my coat and just like place it up so that there's a barrier that she can't, you know, film me. Try to be petty back. But honestly, like the next time she ends up doing it, which I haven't seen her in years, but the next time someone does something like that, if they get really petty about a situation, they bring out a camera. I'm going to bring out a camera and just start filming them. Just like give them a taste of their own medicine. So, do you guys have any boomer or interesting boomer stories, especially with Karens?
Not with Karens, but I did have an old neighbor. I used to rent a room a few years back, and Rylan had the privilege of meeting Arlene, and her name was Arlene. She was probably like late 70s, maybe even early 80s, and she was just somebody who would just tell the same stories every single time. And so there was a time where my buddy Corey from work, he was over my place. We were going to go to a Sixers game later that night, and so I guess Corey had ordered pizza. I was taking a nap. I was super tired, and I guess the pizza guy knocked on the front door, like the front door of the house. And that was like Arlene's house. I was in the back, and I wake up to Arlene. It's like this small, like 5 foot tall, like really old lady, and she's just like, "He's in the back. He's in the back." and I'm just like, I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then she's banging on the front door. She's like, the pizza guy's here. The pizza guy's here. And I wake up and I like go out in the hallway, and Corey's like, wait, what's going on? I'm like, oh, that's my neighbor. So I go to the front door, and the pizza guy is horrified. It's like this young like college kid or whatever with like really long hair, and like I answer the door, and she's like, the pizza guy's here. I'm like, I heard you the third time. What the hell? And he's just like handing me pizza. He's like, he hands it to Corey, and he's just like, oh, it's 1337. Corey gave him his credit card. He was swiping it, and she's like, yeah, I didn't know where you were, so I wanted to bring him back here. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, Arlene? Oh my God. And then our other buddy John, like we're having a poker night at my apartment, and he ends up knocking on the front door as well. And then she tells him, he's in the back. He's in the back. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I mean, older people do some wild stuff. I remember Arlene vividly. She had a dog that would like shit in her own like side of the house or whatever.
Go
like,
poop.
And she was okay with that, I guess. She did some crazy shit. She would like come over and like Shane, I remember you would like after a while you're like, all right, it's been like an hour and she's still babbling. You would like round up your trash and kind of like I don't know, you would like motion like I gotta go throw this out, and she'd be like, she wouldn't even recognize like this, like she'd be like, okay, whatever, and like she just keeps talking. I remember Tommy and Billy lived down the street, and you're just like, who the hell's Tommy and Billy? They were great, and then I would ride my horse, and then you're just like, okay,
Goldie, my horse Goldie.
She had a horse in that area?
Yeah,
she used to have a horse.
Apparently she had a horse. I love that horse.
And she hated her son. Like her son would come over and like mow the lawn, do the weeds and everything. And the one time her son was putting the lawnmower on the back of his truck bed, and she pops out of her window. You better not let that thing fall. And he's like, he called her Arlene. He called his mom Arlene. He's like, Arlene, do you think I'm an idiot? And she pipes back. She's like, yeah, I do. Like, oh, and he's just like had it, and he gets in his truck and like storms off. And then there was one time where he was just pulling the weeds. He's like, oh, you're finally getting around to it. He's like, yeah, I do everything around here. And she's just like, yeah, you're always slacking. It was insane. And then the one time, like literally,
sounds like a catch.
Literally, he's just out there in the driveway, and she just yells out the window, "You're an idiot!" It's like, what the fuck?
Have a good day.
And then the crazy part is he actually ended up evicting her, and I was inside, and I could overhear an argument, and he was just like, I need all your shit out. I need it done by Monday, and make sure you clean up after your dog too. And she's just like, oh, don't worry. I'm going to leave a nice treat for you. And he was like, so I see Chuck like about a week later after Arlene moves out. And he's like, you wouldn't guess what Arlene did. Her freaking dog, she left a big pile of shit in the living room. And I was like, yeah, like I overheard that. Like I heard her saying that. I didn't think she was actually going to do it. But turns out Arlene was a huge hoarder. Like I helped her move like this workout equipment, move it outside, and she was probably hoarding stuff for 50 years. Like
Jesus.
Her place smelled like shit,
Oh.
piss, vomit. Like it was horrible. And like she never
God,
really
people live like
embarrassed
that.
me. But like there would be some times where, I'd take a date back, and sometimes she was like, "Oh, how'd you have fun last night?" Like, thanks, Arlene. Yeah, thank you.
I feel like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think anything's going to top an Arlene's story.
No,
Honestly.
absolutely not.
You got to meet her. Hopefully, she's still alive. But
Yeah.
I mean,
God bless her.
I honestly think the whole hoarding situation could really be, for next episode, because I have my own personal story with dealing with hoarders, but we'll leave that for next time. But guys, we are out of time.
this has been fun.
So yeah, thank you guys for
Thank you.
Thank you.
participating in this wonderful episode. So obviously we're still looking to add some things within the future, especially some new segments. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys very much for joining us on a wonderful episode here of Busy on Break. Thank you, Dave Grohl. I very much appreciate everything that you do. Take it away, guys. What are you thankful for?
Thanks, Danny DeVito.
Thank you, America.
Thank you, scrambled eggs. I actually really like scrambled eggs. It's like the third time I've mentioned it on this podcast. All right. You guys have a good one. Thank you all very much for joining us. Have a great day.